What's up, human beings? My name is Damon Samuels, and welcome to the second reasoning session in My Hopeinion. If you notice, we changed it from In My Opinion to In My Hopeinion. The reason being is that, we're Jamaicans, and sometimes we take things and give things. Like, for example, we take the H from house, so we say house, and we put it to opinion. Today, I'm here with my brothers. We have Chris Strikes. What up, brother?
What's up?
And we have my brother, Linky Links from Litz Radio, and he's here today.
Yes, sir.
We're here today to bring light to this same topic of culture. So you know that in part one we had the idea of culture, and we talked about language, right? We talked about the use of language and how we receive language. So today we're going to go into arts. More specifically, we're going to go into film, because as you know, Strikes is a filmmaker, a documentary maker, reggae artist. I always say that. And
balls, I'm not a reggae artist.
And Linky Links is the dancehall guru in Toronto. Like, he interviews artists and stuff. He goes to dancehall, he hosts parties, so he has an understanding of the effects of that kind of music on, certain kinds of behavior. So the question today we're dealing with is, we've heard about the conundrum, the dilemma that the chicken and the egg, which came first? We don't know. Sometimes, depending on your perspective, you could say one thing is one thing and one thing is other. So, it's an ongoing debate. It's analogous to what we're talking about today, because we're talking about music, and it's, arts, film, music, and its effects on behavior, and whether or not society influences the music and the film, or the film and the music influences the behavior of people. So it's kind of the same kind of chicken or egg kind of question. So today we're gonna kick it off by just getting into film first. Let's talk about film. And with that, we're going to go to Strikes. Strikes, what do you think about that question? Do you think films affect a person's behavior? Like, if I go out and I watch a Rambo movie, am I going to want to just go bust some guns?
I think film has a less of effect on behavior in terms versus music. But and specifically to film, and we can even expand it to video games, I do think it has amplified violence and violent attitude, or has greatly desensitized violence to culture and to the viewer. For me, I always looked at film as there was an understanding in film that the same understanding doesn't exist in music. There's an understanding of fictionalization in film, because when we see an actor acting a role, when we see Will Smith acting a role, we know that is not Will Smith on screen.
Understanding by who, though?
By community, by our community, and as a whole, in general. Like when I speak generalization. More people in our community understand that, okay, this is a movie, that's Will Smith on screen, but he's playing a character. Whereas they might hear music and think, oh, that's XYZ rapper, he must live like that. If he's talking like that in his lyrics, he must live like that.
But this is the thing, though, Chris, with that point. Don't you think that the visual creates more stimulation than the audio? Because
I was just about
because if you're going to use that logic for movies and for films and stuff like that, right? Then what would stop you from using that logic for the audio? Given that the visual, because we know that music has deteriorated given the widespread use of internet and stuff like that, because people are getting a chance to watch videos more, so we have more sex, drugs, and alcohol in being seen. Like, we used to hear people talk about stuff, but hearing about it isn't as effective as when you actually hear it and see it.
Yeah.
So wouldn't that mean that for movies, for films, it'd be more effective seeing someone actually, even if they're not doing it for real? Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it be more effective seeing them doing it?
Not necessarily, and I mean, I think it's dependent on a person by person basis. Like, for people who are more susceptible or more sensitive to that, I think the visual definitely desensitizes it more. But I still think.
Why do you think that? Why does it desensitize it? What do you think it does?
What that
I hear you saying it, but why do you think it desensitizes the whole thing as opposed to the audio?
Because I think when you see a thing enough times, like when you see a thing that's supposedly shocking enough times, it's no longer shocking, and it's not just violence. It's anything. Like now, I believe that the masses, whenever there's a police shooting, for example, the masses are less or more desensitized to it than before. They're like, oh my gosh, not another one. Whereas before they were like up in arms and there was more anger about the situation. But now that there's so many of this occurrences and so many times that we've seen it on Facebook or whatever.
Yeah, the law of diminishing returns. But what I'm saying is, why wouldn't that logic work for music?
Because, so like I was saying with music, what's different about music is the character role. So there's a thing, when we see a rapper talk about a particular thing, or when we see a dancehall artist talk about a particular thing, we hold that rapper or dancehall artist, we hold them to that truth more than we hold an actor to the truth of the role that they're playing. Because we know that actor, we know that Will Smith or Brad Pitt or George Clooney or whoever it may be, we know that, oh, that's not them in real life. They're just playing a character. Whereas in music, even if that's not that person in real life, general masses will hold that musician to that truth more, or they'll hold them to that image more than they'll hold the actor. So a lot of the times, like when you know, when somebody's on the fence, when somebody's on the brink, and they might go out and hurt somebody. What are they doing? They're probably listening to music that's kind of reinforcing that. Yeah. They're listening to music that's reinforcing their negative feelings, their destructive feelings that they're thinking, right? They're not going and watching a movie or watching a YouTube video. They're listening to that music that's talking about shoot 'em up or whatever. I'm gonna do this to you. I'm gonna do that. They're listening to that and getting into the zone because they're holding them. They subconsciously or consciously are holding that music artists much more to that truth.
I totally disagree because knowing how we as human beings are, as you say, human beings, but it's being from the streets, it's the reality where people gravitate towards visual. You know what I mean? So what they see, they normally are quicker to act on that more than what they hear or even reading. So as he said, Brad Pitt is not that type of person. Carlton, perfect example, Carlton from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. No one will see Carlton and call him by his real name.
What's his real name?
You know, I'm gonna tell
Alonzo.
Yeah. Alonzo. So no one will see him and call him that. You know what I mean? They would always look at
Alfonso.
him. Alfonso, you're right, Alfonso.
Yeah,
so no one will look at him and say Alfonso.
Yeah.
They would always look at it as Carlton.
Yeah.
So, for example, I kind of understand where he's coming from, from an artist perspective, where, okay, for example, I'm a VOD or a Vibes Cartel. They're known as an hardcore dancehall reggae artist. So when one sees a VOD or sees a Vibes Cartel, they're thinking Badman, right? But yet still, they diverse. Them sing Badman song, girl song, and conscious song. So the variety spread where the actors is spread, but I just think that people gravitate more towards the visual. Yeah, the visual kind of grab people.
There's a thing called the Bobo doll experiment in psychology, where they put kids in a room and they show them different clips of things, right? And the more violent the clips are, the more violent the kids were towards the doll, the Bobo doll. So they'll use things and hit the doll or whatever, which personally, I don't think that proves anything, because it depends on the kid and it depends on the home they're coming from, and it depends on how much attention they like, because they know there's something going on here. People are watching me, so I might just do something. You know what I'm saying?
So one aspect of it.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is there are experiments done showing that more violent films can create a more violent personality. Whether it's only the film alone that's doing it or the environment that the person is in, but the experiment shows that there's some kind of correlation, right? So I don't know if I can agree with you that that film, we're so used to it and we understand the idea of this guy just acting, so we're just gonna leave it alone, right? I don't know if I can agree with you with that, because I still can't see why that logic can't be used to music, and I definitely don't agree with music. Violent music creates violent behaviors.
No.
Right? No, it's okay. We'll get to that. Don't worry. We'll get to that. Don't preempt. I personally feel like, in order for a movie to be good, a film to be good, I don't want to limit it to movies, but in order for a film to be good, it has to accurately depict some kind of reality. So the better you do it, and the more really make it seem.
Do you think most films are based upon like at least part reality though?
No. All films are based on reality.
Yeah.
Because it reflects reality, which is why I started off by prefacing by saying it's kind of a weird conundrum. The question puts us in a conundrum where, which comes first, the society influencing the arts or the arts influencing society, right? So, it does have some kind of semblance of reality. But the more real it is, or the more real it seems, the more effective it is, right? And there's a reason for that, right? And I think the reason is because people believe it more, and if you believe it more, then chances are it might influence your behavior.
The notion of a successful film, depending on accuracy, is true. But the accuracy is to bring out or to elicit emotion within the audience, right? So it's like if you see something that looks cheesy in film, whether it's a special effects or whether it's a karate scene, whether it's a shooting scene, just like if it doesn't look real to you, you're gonna say
you're not gonna buy into it.
You're not gonna buy into it, and then you check out emotionally. So then I wouldn't correlate. I wouldn't correlate the accuracy being like reasoning for the violence. Now, mind you, I'm not saying films completely don't amplify violence in our community or in society as a whole. I'm just saying they do so less than music because of that understanding that this is a fictional thing and these are fictional people and whatnot. The exception to that rule will be like if it's a film based on a real life, like if it's a film based on Frank Lucas's life or some sort of gangster's life, a film or a show, then that kind of weakens that weakens a little bit. That fictional aspect of it weakens a little bit because they're like, man, look at what these guys did back in the 70s or back in the 20s or whatnot. But in getting back to the whole thing. I do believe that the images do desensitize us to violence, and it does what it also does as well too. When people are more desensitized to violence, is it causes a chain reaction in, again, more susceptible people. It causes a chain reaction in them where they now devalue life a little bit less. So whereas. Because when we see characters die on film, like we don't care about them, right? Like when you see a bad guy,
I care.
When you see a bad guy die on film, like or a henchman or whatever, like when you see Neo in the Matrix going in with Trinity and shooting up the whole place.
So why do people cry? Why do people react if they don't care?
Well, here's the thing. Here, you didn't let me finish. When you see Neo going in and shooting up like whatever his place in the Matrix, like that amazing scene that they had when they walked into the building trying to get Morpheus back. You don't think about that officer is down and like maybe they have a family or whatnot because you're so in their character's not important to the narrative, so you're not emotionally invested. If Neo gets it, because then you're like crying or then you're feeling something. But what I'm saying is the fact that those characters who don't have any names, they were just obstacles for the main character. The fact that they got it, that desensitizes people, and people who are mentally more susceptible to being influenced by that could cause them to devalue life less.
But does it mean that though? It doesn't mean that people are desensitized, or just simply means that the director is doing a good job of directing your mind, your thoughts, your emotions towards a certain thing, because he's making that side guy who's getting it seem like he's irrelevant. But Neo and Trinity and all those guys are so important. So if they get it, then you're gonna be like, oh my god.
Yeah, but it's both though, because on the surface of it, it's like it's what you're saying, which is like your emotional connection to the main characters. But you have to remember, not everybody consumes art the same way, right? Some people will consume art in that, oh my gosh, these are the main characters. Like I don't want anything to happen to them.
That's a good point.
But other people, they'll look at other things about it. Like they might not even care if the main character gets it. They might want the bad guy to win, or they might just look at like I do it. Like probably about the second time that I watch a film or something, I think about, oh, that henchman over there that just got dropped. Like he has a family. Like you know, I think about
it's a good point, Chris. It's a good point, Chris. But and that we obviously don't have the whole day. You know, we're trying to catch a life. So we're trying to make this as narrow as possible, and I hope you bear with us because this is a topic that can be so vast that we could talk all day about it. And you know, I hope you guys get involved and get engaged in the discussion because this is what brings the light to the topic that we're talking about. So now we move forward, and you know, we see that, you know, I thought Chris made a great point with who is receiving the message and how vulnerable you are to receiving that message. So now we move forward. Now we go to music, right? And we're gonna bring Linky Links, and we're gonna. This is the question. So, given that some people are more vulnerable to this whole, are more susceptible to this whole impact of violence and drugs and sex, etc., in the arts, in the visual arts, and in film and music. Now we're gonna go to music. Do you think that in the dancehall space we should be, given what's going on with our culture, that we should be more mindful of the things we talk about?
No, you have to understand that dancehall is raw. You know what I mean? Dancehall is from the streets. So when someone is deciding, when someone wants to be a part of dancehall, they can't come in and be all push up nose and all itty tighty. You have to know that dancehall is street, it is raw, and it's hardcore. So if you can't handle that, don't be a part of it. To follow up on your question now, saying that, do you think that if the music itself influence the community or people itself in general? I will not go out on a limb and say no, because you have some weak-minded people out there that really buy into their artists and believe that whatever their artist is singing about, that's who they really are. But in reality, no. Because Whitney Houston sing a lot of songs, other people don't buy into that. Where that is on the softer side. But what I find, and it's so sad, that when it's someone that is talking about guns or war or whatever, we tend to highlight that, saying, okay, this is a reason why he or she is doing that, because Jay-Z is singing about pimping and singing about drugs or Lil Wayne or a Vibes Cartel or a Movado or any hardcore dancehall artist. We tend to say, okay, this is a reason why he or she is doing that, not knowing the reality or the foundation behind one individual thoughts.
Yeah, that's true. But this is the thing, though. Do you think, because you started off by saying that dancehall it's what it is.
It's raw, it's street.
And if you can, accept the heat, jump out of the
yeah, really.
Unreal.
If you can't,
unreal, though, my brother.
Yes.
Do you think that's a fair argument to make when it comes to, so say for example I'm susceptible, but I
no, you have to, these are the big words. Come with the streets. These are the big words. So,
say for example I'm weaker in mindset and I'm more impressionable, I take things on quicker. So if you say to me that you know people are really green, I'm like, yo, people are green, even if I thought they were black and white, people are really green. I'm that kind of mindset.
Okay.
So you're saying that for me now, I go to a dancehall space, and because I'm like that, I have that kind of personality, I should just stay out of the kitchen?
I'm not saying you should stay out of the kitchen. If you go in the kitchen and you see the stove is hot, you're not going to touch it. You want to know why it's hot.
Yeah.
Who left it down? So you come into a dancehall and you hear me saying, oh, my brother, they're green. you're gonna say to me, Linky, why you say that guy is green? Like, does he smell green? Does he look green?
But I'm partying. I'm not.
Yeah,
sensitive at that
but
moment.
it is on you again, as I said, based upon one individual thoughts and how we go about doing things. Again, the main important thing and the most important thing is that you have to know what you're getting yourself into. Dancehall is very raw, it is very street, it's very hardcore.
So there's no responsibility
No.
for people who are making music.
There is responsibility.
What's the responsibility?
The responsibility is
Just make good music.
no, not only making good music, but
So down in a hole and stuff like that. Like that's
what I'm talking about. Say, if a man said, "Dung in your old girl," and dung, that's dancehall. It's up to you. You have that choice if you want to be a part of it.
But what I'm saying is, this is what I'm saying, right? Remember, we're from the culture where, and Chris, you'll get a chance to weigh in. I just want to deal with this quickly.
Yeah.
Because it gets,
It's like it eat it to make it hot right now.
so
Good. So music.
so the thing is, so in the 60s and 70s with Bob Marley and even coming to the States, we have Nina Simone, and there you could hear because of the oppression that we're facing, the civil rights movement and stuff that was going on, you could hear in their voices that you could hear the pain that we should stand up, get up, stand up and deal with this. And Nina Simone, the black, the strange fruit on the poppy trees, and you could hear the pain and you could hear the struggle, and it in some people it's sparked this chord, for them to, I'm gonna stand up and do something. You don't think that translates to now when these idiots they're gonna come, like Young Thug is gonna come and tell me that I swerve on the curve and what are you gonna do about that? And I don't even know what he said. Really, I'm really ad-libbing.
All right.
So you don't think that the difference in message, right, also impacts even the so-called susceptible mind as me. I believe people are green.
I think you're getting it like miscued, misinformed where reggae and dancehall is concerned. You know what I mean? Because the reggae you have the Bob Marley, Peter Touch the Bunny Wailer, where the dancehall you have the Bounty Killer, the Beanie Man, the Vibes Cartel, the Movado. You know what I mean? So the dancehall is more on the raw side, you know what I mean, and the reggae music is Three Little Birds by My Doorstep and some little cultural thing and little berries and thing. So
I've heard this argument before.
Yes.
About raw and dancehall. First of all, the genre is reggae, and there's dancehall, there's lovers rock, there's culture reggae music. So that distinction between reggae and dancehall to me is it's beyond my understanding.
Why?
I don't get. Anyways, so this is not a genre debate. No, I've heard this argument about dancehall being raw and accepted and such, and I don't think by using the different terms absolves the real problem. Not because you say dancehall is raw, it doesn't absolve the foolishness. So if you can be a dancehall artist and you can be hardcore and still make positive music.
Yeah, that's okay. You're right.
So that has nothing to do with.
No, you're 100%
That has nothing to do with Peter Tosh and Bob Marley.
No, but right there you're moving from the category and you're how would I put it now? You're defining an individual. So we have two categories, but you as an individual reggae artist, you can do dancehall as well. But you still have that category.
But you're saying dancehall is raw and people should accept it. But that not because you use.
I'm not saying you should accept it. I'm just knowing that if you're gonna be a part of dancehall, don't come like, oh my God, what is he doing?
Okay,
why is he singing that?
But let's bring in strikes.
Yes.
What do you think, brother?
So here's the thing. It's not a matter of like it's dancehall music is raw. Beware. You're not entering a danger zone. You're not physically entering a danger zone. You're turning on a radio, or you're turning on iTunes, or wherever you want to consume.
Because there's clean version on the radio of a dancehall music.
It's not even just like clean versus dirty version, but like essentially like the music is coming at you. It's surrounding you, and it's not just dancehall music. It could be any type of music. It could be EDM music that's telling you to take Molly all the time, and like kids are taking Molly and ODing on that. So the thing is, people have more vulnerability or more weakness toward music, right? Like they just have a stronger connection to music than any other genre of art. And you can tell that by the way people respond to when they see their favorite music artists. You can tell that by the way people line up for days to get concert tickets. You can tell that by the way when people are at these concerts, like packing in these concerts, and like that's the connection. That's the emotional connection that they have to this music. Now, most people are going to be like, yeah, that's just the music. That's just the lyrics. Like, we don't need to live like that. But then there are those good amount of people who are vulnerable to that, and it's not that they hear one song and they're gonna go out and do something. It's they're hearing years and years and years of songs and years of content and years of especially if they're only paying attention to the more
certain type of music.
Yeah, the more gangster music or the more violent music, especially if they're primarily or only paying attention to that. I do believe that people need to be more responsible with their art. That doesn't mean that they shouldn't stop talking about these things, because I don't believe in that. But they need to understand the power that they have with their lyrics, with their visuals. When I first got into film, I didn't understand the power that I had with my visuals, and I realized it like as I was going throughout my career. And you always hear this conversation when rap artists get interviewed about this subject of like, do you feel like you're contributing to violence in the community? And 9 times out of 10 the answer is a defensive answer where it's like, no, it has nothing to do with me, it's like how the kid is being raised. But I think that's a cop-out answer, because yes, it has to do with how the kid is being raised. Yes, the violence,
it takes a village.
Yeah, it takes a village. But yes, the violence started before the art. Yes, all those things, but you have to understand the art amplifies it. The art gives it a stronger voice. The art gives it almost an acceptability. So I feel that artists need to, at the very least, understand that.
There's another problem, and the problem is, okay, for me, I would love to only hear positive music all my life, but that's just how I am. A lot of people are not like that. A lot of people, they're able to separate on a daily basis what's real and what's not. They go to the dance hall, they're there to relax and have fun and to get away from their daily stresses or whatever, given that life is so stressful for all of us. And I get it, I understand it. So they're able to separate the dung in a hole that shoot a guy in his face from the actual reality. They might not even like guns, but they like the song because it's creative. Now, this is the problem that I think exists for a lot of artists, because a lot of artists probably feel this exact same way, but if they make positive music, like music without guns and without sex and alcohol, and people are not going to listen to it. So how do we solve that problem? Because I don't want to hear a song, not because you're saying Ja and Selassie means I want to hear you. You know what I'm saying? Because I think some of these guys spend, as you said, music moves us, so people spend a lot of money and stuff, but they also spend a lot of time making it. And some of it sucks. I'm like, bro, you spend 6 hours on this? Like, really? So for me, it's like, how do you, because sometimes, like for example, Nas, one of my favorite hip hop artists, but sometimes he has some boring ass songs, right? How do you combat this idea of making good music, but at the same time making positive music, right?
I think the artists have to believe in themselves, that they don't have to go with what is common, what is mass, what is mainstream. They can be different. Great examples are Donald Glover.
But they're not selling. They're not popular.
Who told you Donald Glover's not popular?
Not really, like he's not as popular.
He's not probably popular in your world.
No, but what I'm saying,
in your world.
This is what I'm saying. Every artist, every man who creates something wants people to reach out to as many people as possible. Donald Glover is popular, right? But I could guarantee you right now that he doesn't get as much popularity as, say, a Young Thug.
No, he probably gets even more, but again,
because he's an actor too. I'm not talking about the acting, I'm talking about his music.
The Childish Gambino part of it.
Yes, nobody knows him as Childish Gambino. They know that guy from the...
No, but here's the thing. Your circles don't know.
That's what I was about to say.
But that's what I'm trying to say. But for me, like I'm like, for me, I don't go into, I'm not deep into hip hop, or I'm not deep into reggae, and I listen to what I hear. So popularity gets people like me. So for me, if you're popular, I'm going to hear you, because I'm not going to search for you at all.
But how do you hear?
What I'm saying.
How do you hear?
I listen to the radio.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's what I'm saying. So if he's not popular,
you just said something like, so going back to how do we solve this problem? So on the consumer end of how do we solve this problem, look for the more positive music that you want to hear.
But what if it's not good?
Look for it.
Because
you can't tell me that every bit of positive
not every bit.
But look for it.
This is what I'm saying. You have more turned up, so to speak, non-positive music than you have positive music. Because people think that because they talk about Africa and they talk about the environment that you should just listen to it. It's not good music. I don't want to hear that. Give me something positive, but at the same time turned up. And that's the problem that I'm asking. How do you? Because Linky, for example, I was watching on stage and I saw DeMarco and he was on it with a couple other Put the Hype and the next guy, and they were saying that Winford brought up the same argument. He's saying that we have a problem with our culture. It's moving backwards. How can we help? And he thinks music is a big part of it. So DeMarco's like, well, it's not like I don't want to make songs like that, but people don't encourage that. So how do you suggest for DeMarco to get over that hump, for example?
All right, just to clarify that, being in the industry and on radio and stuff like that, it's hard. Everything starts from the head. Because you as an artist, that's just a little fraction of the work. You know what I mean? So it starts from the marketing, the managing, you know what I mean, stuff like that. And most importantly, as you said, what you are hearing. So it has to do with the radio personnel. It has to do with the sound man. It has to do with the club guys. So positive music is being made, but again, people are not believing in it. Because if you, as a listener, as a audience, as a fan, say, okay, you know what, DeMarco, okay, I don't want to hear that positive. But if him go sing down in your hole and them thing there, people are jump up on them thing there. Okay, so DeMarco gonna realize, say, that's what he's gonna stick to, because that's what's working with. But it's all about the mindset. If you are a strong power, a strong mind enough, and you say, okay, this is who I am. I am a culture artist, or I am a dancer artist, raw. It's gonna work.
But it's hard because you, as a maker of art, you want to be popular.
But again, Damien, you have to realize that to be out there, you can testify about this too. It's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be that easy.
It does come from both ends, because perfect example I just thought of. Kanye West, Jesus Walks.
Yeah.
That was a semi-gospel song, you can kind of say, maybe, that played in the club.
That doesn't make it positive though.
But here's the thing, like, so he's the overall message is that Jesus walks with him, and like, he's not here to argue facial features, he's just saying he needs Jesus, right? Like, he needs Jesus in his life to be able to live his life. Now, whether you're religious or not, that's a whole other argument, but let's just use that as a positive example. That is a perfect example of a song that can be a mainstream hit, a positive song that can be a mainstream hit. And if more people made songs like that were playing in the club, playing in the strip club, bumping on, I still bump Jesus Walks in my car till today. Like, you know what I mean? If artists had that belief that they could make those songs, and you have to remember, Kanye West, since day one, he's always just been going against the grain. Even though a lot of people don't like him for his recent stuff about
He just beat himself.
Yeah, he's just always been against the grain. So I think we need more people who are against the grain. Another great example is Pharrell Williams, Happy. That was a huge smash. That played in the club and whatnot, bumped in my car and whatnot. And that's just about being happy, dance, expressing yourself. You know what I mean? So Pharrell is another personality that goes against the grain. It just historically, he goes against the grain, you know what I mean? So I think if we have more artists who believe that they can go against the grain and believe that they can just be themselves and put out like positive music that will be successful, the artists need to have that belief, and then the labels and the marketing people and all that stuff, they will respond to it. They will respond to it and be like, okay, we can accept this more and more and whatnot. It's just the artists need to open their minds to what is possible, even if it's not the mainstream channels, the traditional mainstream channels. You can always put that stuff on YouTube. Like Pharrell, part of the reason why Pharrell's Happy was so successful is because he had a 24-hour music video where everybody could like dance, and you could see people all over the world dancing to this song, like, you know what I mean, and that was something huge and innovating at the time, you know. So
it's all about marketing, though.
Yeah, well, just even more than that, I think it's just artists become more open-mindedness to what's possible, and they don't feel like they have to compromise themselves or compromise their beliefs or whatever the case may be.
Okay, with that said, do you guys think that we need more positivity in both film and music? Right, so Linky, do you think we need more positivity in the music?
I think we need more togetherness in the music. Because you could put out positivity, but yet still people are not supporting you, people are not rooting for you.
But yeah, but you guys just said an artist should believe in him or herself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So again, perfect example as you. Certain music you'll be like, oh, that's total rubbish. But again, is that a good artist though?
What do you mean?
Like, perfect example, you despise Tanto Blas.
Yeah, I think
you say it's a clown.
I think so.
But the reason why I respect Tanto Blas is because he believes in himself.
Yeah, but
to make
an argument, Hitler believed in himself. Like, to make an argument
but what I mean by believing in himself and actually living through it. So he said, of course it means it means a great lot, because guess what? You can sit here and this show, in my opinion, could be a show that we do every week, and okay, but if you don't believe in it, it won't.
No, that's fine. That's fine. But it's not because I believe in it why it might or might not work. It's because it might or might not be good.
No, believe in it, give it that strength.
Yes, but that's not the reason why it wouldn't work.
Of course. That's the main reason.
No, that's not okay. What I'm saying,
that's a different.
What I'm saying is, believing in something is not enough.
Not believing in something, believing in what you are doing.
But it's not enough. It's not because you can believe, right? Because I'm pretty sure that the guys who make the dagger music, they believe in themselves, and that we could do without that. You see what I'm saying?
No, you can do without that.
No, we can do without.
No, you.
That's not helping. That's not helping our Jamaican society and our Jamaican culture.
No,
that's a part of the reason. That's a part of the reason why right now we're losing reggae. You see what I'm saying? The Grammys, which is pretentious. We don't really care about the Grammys anyways. But let's say, for argument's sake, the Grammys is just about to happen. And how many Jamaican guys we have in there? 3. A category of 6, and half of it is non-Jamaican. So for us, it's like we're losing our music. And it's, a part of it is because we've evolved into this kind of foolishness, and that's the point of this discussion, is to try to highlight the idea that people, because I understand what you're saying. I'm not trying to beat down anything you're saying at all, but at the same time, I think you have it wrong. I think you have it wrong because it's not about what people believe in or whether they believe in themselves or not. It's about positivity. What's the end result? So if you're doing something and it's not really honing any good end results, then you probably should stop. You know what I'm saying? And that might sound like a dictator, but it's
called, in my opinion. So that's your opinion.
It's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think a part of it is because of the way we've evolved. You know what I'm saying? So a guy like Chronic, for example, is being very successful and is very popular because he continued to make the kind of music that not only positive.
But you're missing the first part. He believes in his craft.
Yes, but I'm saying it's not only that. That's not the reason why he's successful.
But that's the beginning, though.
We're not talking about beginning or end. We're talking about why.
That's what's got him started. That's what's got him started. I'm telling you.
Linky,
if you never believe in this show now,
you're missing the point.
I'm not missing your point, but you're missing what really have to get something off the ground. You have to believe in
but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not saying you can't. If you don't believe in yourself, you're not gonna have confidence to do it. I know this.
Okay.
But I'm saying that has nothing to do with whether you're gonna be whether people are gonna watch this or not.
Okay.
It has to do with whether it's good, and whether it's good has to do with how you receive the message. Is it a positive thing? How is society going? Because right now, if I put up, maybe I take off my shirt and start flexing like this, maybe I'll get more views on a video than saying something positive to people, because that's how society is going, and that's the point of what we're trying to discuss here and reason about. Is that which comes first? You know what I'm saying? whether society influences arts, the film and the music, or the film and the music is trickling down into people's minds and influencing their behavior. So in a final thought, right? Strikes. What would you part with from this discussion? And also, don't forget to plug your direction in terms of your filmmaking. Like, this is not the time to be humble and hold the Trinity. Come and say some stuff about what you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
I'm a music video director, Chris Strikes. Check me out, Instagram, Facebook, at Chris Strikes. And to answer your question, final thought, there's 3 things that need to happen. A, yes, we do need more positive art, let's say.
Yeah.
B, there needs to be more of a mainstream light. Sean's on the right.
Yeah, that's a word.
Sean upon that positive art. And C, we as consumers need to look for it, and we as consumers need to embrace it. Those 3 things need to happen. So and it's gonna always be imbalanced if one of those 3 don't happen, but those 3 things need to happen. So Damon, you're saying you don't want to search for music. I think you need to start searching for music. And for for artists who are out there who feel afraid to make more positive music because you feel like it's not going to sell, I think just make it. You have to remember the first responsibility of art is expressiveness and is connecting with human beings more than it is racking up dollars. And I know not everybody gets in the industry for that. A lot of people get into the industry for the dollars, but you have to remember art is connecting with people. And then just see the other part of it, just shedding the light on it, like more people, more platforms, Netflix or whatever, marketing, or radio, just need to give this light to this more positive stuff, and don't just wait until it's a Kanye West or a Pharrell Williams, but somebody who may be on the come up, or somebody who's just on the cusp, who's not quite there yet, but they're on the cusp. Allow their voice to shine through. And I think when those 3 things happen, I think that will have an effect on society. And society needs to take its responsibility as well too. Like, don't wait for the music to act positive to be positive. Be positive in your whole life. Be positive. When you change your outlook on stuff, when you open up your mind to more positive things, you are going to no longer be interested, or no longer going to have such a strong desire for what was negative previously. And I can attest to that just from my own experiences.
Well said.
So that's my final.
And before we move to Linky Links and his final parting shot, I want to shout out to Ian Kamal and the Freedom Riders. For me, in Toronto, those guys, when I listen to those guys and the type of music that they do, it strikes a chord. And it's not only because it's positive, it's because it's good, right? So, we need more guys to start, emulating that kind of stuff, because it makes no sense talking about Hennessy and your Jordans, and we can have all that, but why talk about it? It's going nowhere. It really proves nothing. So with that said, Linky Links, I know you have your radio show on Thursdays, and I know he's doing big things. Trust me, he's doing big things. You'll hear about him soon, and I know you have a parting shot because you love chat. So go ahead and do your thing.
All right, what an introduction. All right. All right, with that said, I have to agree with my boy Strikes here on certain tips that he just left with you guys. We're more influential, more positive music, more positive filmmaking is very important in this world that we're living. But I'm a realist. I'm from the streets, and I adapt and I adjust very well to what's actually happening in the world right now. So again, if someone wants to sing about drugs, guns and cars, which is not right, but again, you as an individual should know what is right and what is wrong. So we cannot blame the artist or blame that film 100% for what you are doing as a person, because if you go in front of the judge and tell them that Kanye West make you go grab that money from out the bank, they can still gonna lock you up. So stay positive within yourself, stay conscious within yourself.
We're hoping to have sparked something in you about, you know, the type of things that we're doing and the way we're doing it. You know, last week we spoke about language and how we receive language. This week we talked about music and film and how it affects us. So I hope you take from it whatever you will. And, you know, at the end of it, you know, we're concluding that, you know, it's, even though making arts can be very charming, right? It's not for everybody, because we know that some people are more susceptible to certain things than others. And because of this, you know, we have to be careful of what we make, you know, what we create, and how we distribute it. Because, you know, really and truly, you won't give a kid plastic and coins to put in his mouth or her mouth, because they swallow it. So it's the same way with music. We have to be careful of where we're distributing it and what we're creating and who we're giving it to, because it's really important to how we evolve in this society, and that's a very important thing. So remember, you know, we're the rose that grew from the concrete, because they tried to bury us, but they didn't know that we're seeds. In my opinion, that's the YouTube channel, so subscribe to it. Thank you, brothers.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Great talk.
Out.